Well, come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
Welcome to another episode of the Offseason presented by Cardinal Studios, which is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Flipping to the defensive side of the ball, this episode, we're going to be getting into edge players in this 2026 NFL draft. And I'm going to be kicking it off here, actually. I'm going to be talking about Akheem Mesidor from Ottawa, Canada. Don't you know? He is 6'3". He was he was measured at the combine at 6'3", 259. I've seen a couple other stats of him floating at 280, so I'm not sure if he necessarily dropped weight for the combine and then into his future. Isidore transferred to Clearwater Academy International in Florida his senior year in high school, raising his profile, giving him he had 92 sacks. 92 sacks. That's crazy. He had 92 tackles.
I was about to say
sacks.
92 sacks.
Yeah. No, sorry.
Defensive player of all time.
Right. I mean, this man's got to be in a shrine somewhere. No, I apologize. Let me run that back one more time. He's got 92 tackles and 10 sacks his senior year in high school at Clearwater Academy International in Florida. He then ended up becoming a 4-star prospect per ESPN, putting him in West Virginia. He played 5 years. I think his first year was in 2020, which is kind of crazy because if you think about it, he played alongside the likes of, hang on, I had a list of this somewhere. Yeah, so he came out, he started when Patrick Surtain, Najee Harris, Devontae Smith, Kyle Pitts, Travis Achan, these players were seniors that year. So, I mean, they weren't they're different ages, but they played in the same era of NCAA football. So that's something to keep in mind. When he goes into the league, he'll be 25 years old. There's a lot of ideas around that, and I'll touch on that later and how I feel personally about that. But then he later, of course, got sent to Miami, where most of his production came from 2025 because he's got an injury issue, which I'll also touch on a little bit later. But in his 2025 season, he had 63 tackles, 12.5 sacks, 17.5 tackles for loss, and 4 forced fumbles in 16 games. I think he started.
So he old as hell, and he gets hurt a lot.
We're gonna get to that. He was first team All ACC in 2025. And these are just his stats, and I'm gonna go ahead and get into what I saw from watching him. There's some good and some bad. I think he's really disciplined in spying the quarterback in boot action. He's really relentless, till the whistle's blown. I've noticed that. He's got a really good get off, a good first step. I feel like no movement is really wasted. He's got really great bend, actually, probably one of the bendier players at the position. One thing I thought that should intrigue other teams to pick him up is that not only does he perform well against tackles, but he's shown that he can actually slide in and face guards and handle them, at least at the collegiate level. One thing that's really interesting about this guy, and actually this isn't my comp to him, but when I watch him, I think of Donovan Ezra, who plays for the Dallas Cowboys. He was a rookie last year. I say that because he's got a clear set plan. You can see, he's got a setup, he's got a counter, and then he's got backups. So it's not where you see a lot of players, they just try and raw athletic you, or just they've got, you're a one trick pony. He's playing chess all day, and it's actually really fun to watch him from a technical aspect. Let's see.
Would you say that those are, or that's one of his pros, his technical?
Absolutely.
Because like you said, like he's not raw. So like, does he have the athleticism, or like is it just technical?
I think it's both. That's the thing. I think that like he's a hell of an athlete. It's a shame that he can't stay healthy. He has the injury history, but
Okay.
as a cerebral end, it looks like not every rep is the same, and some of them may look the same. Kind of like if you're thinking about like a wide receiver per se, and they're setting up their route, and some of the steps may look the same, but they'll break off and do something different. It's the same thing with how he attacks linemen, which I find just fascinating.
Expect the unexpected, for sure.
Oh, for real.
Right. I did have here that he had surgeries on both feet. But you could fool me. You actually could fool me. Just from watching the guy move. Here are his cons. For Mr. Mesidor. Age is the biggest argument. Against him being 25 years old. I'm gonna argue that he's got experience though, because his trajectory and watching his numbers, which we have to talk about, did go up. His production predominantly came from this year. That's because of injury. A hell of a liability if he's asked to drop into coverage.
I don't want a nigga with surgery on both of his feet in coverage, bruh. And he's not.
Have him go forward, and it doesn't need to be a disguise, but it's not easy to stop from what I've seen. Balance is a bit of an issue. He falls a lot when he's breaking into the upfield. So I feel like I say, if you're listening to this, Akheem, take some ballet classes. That's not a knock. That's actually something that like really helps athletes with balance. Like that sounds like I'm being funny, but for real.
Big ass ballerina.
I have him behind Cassius Howe, going into like the late second personally. Or sorry, a late one into like an early second round pick. With him being 25 years old, we can argue that the ceiling may not be as high as some of these younger players. But I feel like this is a guy that you can, right out of the box, can give you 8 to 9 sacks a year. While that may be consistent and kind of hold there, maybe drop a little bit over time, while his peers will supersede him, like your Ruben Bains and, players that we're going to continue to talk about later on in this episode, I think have a higher trajectory. But if you need a player to plug and play with consistency, this guy is NFL ready to go. The one thing I wanted to say,
old as hell. Goddamn.
I'm really glad you brought that up, because there are players who came out of the draft at an older age and played for a long time and with great success, like Roger Staubach, Jordan Mailata, Terrence Newman. I mean, Terrence Newman came into the league at 25 years and he played for 35. Like, the dude, like, he played until he was 40 years old and like with success. Like, I'm not saying he was the best, but he was a great corner for years. So these are examples of players who have came in at an older age and had success in the league. My comp for him is Byron Young. The end from the Rams or Tennessee, depending on what time you're looking at it. But
I like Byron Young. He's solid.
That's my man's Akheem Mesidor, the Canadian.
He's a friendly guy.
I'm waiting. So I had Zion Young from Missouri, 6'6", 262, with 33-inch arms. Honestly, he looks like a pretty decent player, but like his numbers are not anything crazy. He has less than 10 sacks in college, like total in 4 years played. In this previous season, he has 6.5 sacks, Season before that, 2.5. The season before that, a sack and a half, and the season before that, in 2022, he had a 1 sack. He's primarily a run defender, like run stuffing, defensive end. Kind of reminds me of like Jadeveon Clowney or something like that. It's not who my pro comp for him would be, but that's kind of like the style that he reminds me of. Some of his pros, his size, he's 6. Or did I say? Yeah. Did I say his size? He's 6'6", 262. He's really tall, long arms, so he can get his hands on you and kind of set the edge. He's good at that. Good tackler. Again, when he gets his hands on you, like you going down strong. I have good at setting the edge written down twice. I was definitely fried writing this. I had that shit expressed in like 2 different ways. That's crazy. Yeah. So again, his sack numbers are not great. Like I just read them off. They're really not great, but his overall tackle was like this year, 2025, 42, before 41, 26, and then 21 before that. But this year he had 16.5 tackles for a loss. Like that's pretty good. So again, a really big like run stuffing stat. Some of his cons: average top end speed. His 40 time is the same as my defensive tackles, so that's not.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not great. I don't know if that means he's slow as hell or my defensive tackle's fast or like.
We'll make that argument soon.
Right, or like maybe somewhere in the middle or something like that. But yeah, he has no counter if his initial rush isn't going anywhere, which is primarily a power rush, I would say. He was also shut out by Auburn's left tackle Xavier Chaplin, who has long ass arms like he does. So he played another guy who, he couldn't make first contact with and get into their chest with, and bro had a long day. So that wasn't a good game. And another thing I noticed a lot when I was watching his play is he stands up a lot. Like he'll get off the ball and instead of, like staying low and like hard to block, bro, like comes off the ball and it's like his chest is up. He damn near, is damn near standing straight up, and it's like bro stands up and they in his chest and they shoving him and they pushing him where they want him to go, not where he wants to go, kind of thing. But overall, I think he's a good player. Again, run stuffer, he's not gonna have like crazy sack numbers. He reminds me of when I was watching his highlights. He reminds me of Alden Smith, if y'all remember Alden Smith from like back in the day. He played for the Niners. I think he played for the Cowboys. Yeah. I think he played for the Cowboys at one point too. But he was a beast for the Niners. But nigga was like calling him bomb threats and shit like that. Like he was crazy.
I was gonna say, didn't he have like a lot of? I think that's why they call Cowboys Second Chance Valley Ranch. Because they be like, after all that stuff happened, they give him the opportunity to play again.
Yeah, he's just something not right with, bro. But watching him play, just like, again, like his build, he's tall, kind of, lanky build and shit like that. But he's good, good. And again, Alden Smith, same build, same kind of play style, but he would get a little bit more sacks. But yeah. Pro count will be Alden Smith. I think he's going to go, I'd say late first, no later than the second round. But it will definitely be late first, like late 20s type of thing, or like 32. I don't know. Like the Patriots, or like 31, something like that.
I meant to ask this for Brandon too. I guess I'll ask it for both of y'all real quick. What team do you think would pick him up? I guess...
Specifically, if I'm picking one, you can go first, Brandon.
I got Dallas getting him at 20.
Ooh.
Okay. And you're talking about your guy, right?
For Mesidor.
It depends on what falls to him. But yeah, for Akheem Mesidor, if we can get, this is just personally for Dallas, if we can get a defensive back for that 12 area, I could see him sitting there at 20. But it just all depends.
Yeah.
Anything higher than that's a reach, personally.
Yeah. That's fair.
I see my dude going anywhere from 26 to the Bills, 27 to the Niners, or like Chiefs or Dolphins at 29 or 30. I could see anywhere back there.
So you have him, like, if we were to, like, hypothetically have a board right now, you have him under Mesidor? Or we disagree on our boards right now?
I haven't really watched. No, I wouldn't have him under Mesidor just based on like age and things like that. But I haven't really watched Mesidor like that, to be totally honest. So I couldn't say. I just think like just strictly based on like the sack numbers and things like that, I don't think people are gonna jump at him because of those numbers. But again, I think he's a good starter.
Okay. Is that it for your guy?
Yeah, that's Zion Young.
Zion Young. So I got Ruben Bain Jr. from the Miami Hurricanes. I have his combine stuff. He didn't do any of like the 40 or the vert or 3-cone, like nothing. I didn't see any of that. I have his production score, which was 93. I think it was second to David Bailey, who was also on this list. So, but pretty good. It was, obviously second. His athleticism score was 72, which was 16th. And his total score was 84, which was also second. So pretty good. So I have a little bit about his background. I'm pretty sure he's actually from Florida. And he played for Florida. Yeah, he grew up in Miami, so pretty cool.
Oh, is he gonna go to the Dolphins at 11? They gonna make a story out of this bullshit?
It's like an
Maybe.
Aiden Hutch situation.
Yeah, they be
Maybe.
so predictable with that shit. Aiden Hutchinson, Kenny Pickett, like
He's
have
not
y'all
gonna
seen
be
like
there.
I don't know if he'll actually go to Miami though, but
have y'all seen like the little bullshit pre-draft stories that are starting to come out? I saw something about Ruben Bain. He was in the car and somebody died while he was driving or some
I was
shit
gonna
like that.
mention that. I was gonna
so
mention 2024 there was an accident he was in.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say
stuff
I
like
have
that is starting to come out.
some
I've
of
seen some
that.
Fernando Mendoza clips. Like it's starting to.
Yeah.
Watch out! Watch out!
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention his high school stuff because he played for Miami Central High School. He had 77 sacks in high school. So bro was productive even back then. He won the Nat Moore Trophy, which is like the best player in like South Florida or whatever, I think. And then he played in the Under Armour All American game. So like bro has just been great from like early on. For his college stuff, his freshman year he had 44 tackles and 12.5 tackles for loss. I think he had 7.5 sacks and then like 3 fumbles. He just dominated off rip pretty much. I think for that year he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, All ACC, third team, pretty sure. And he was like the only freshman in the ACC with over 7 sacks. So pretty cool. His sophomore year he got injured, obviously, and then like the accident and everything happened that year. So I guess he only had 23 tackles and 3.5 sacks. And then I'll jump to what you guys touched on, the accident. I don't have too much on it, but like you said, the passenger later died, from the injuries from the accident. So rest in peace. I don't even know who it is, but that's, it's very sad. And then he was pretty sure, I think they gave him careless driving, but the charges were dropped. I'm pretty sure. And I don't even know why they were dropped, but that's just something I wanted to throw out there.
Issue with that, but that's for another day.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on it, but I don't want to. But anyway,
You want to get
his-
political?
no, I mean not even that. It's just like time and everything. But his junior year, which was this year, was definitely like his superstar season. He had 54 tackles and 15.5 tackles for loss. He had almost 10 sacks with 9.5. Then he had a pick. He won ACC Defensive Player of the Year again. Consensus All American. Had Hendrickson Award or Hendricks Award. Like, yeah, he's just absolutely dominant. I have for his strengths, he just like he's very versatile for one. He's really good with his run defense. And he's just like constantly just able to go out there and produce at a very high level. He's strong as hell and pretty technical. He gets good leverage. And yeah, he like doesn't stop. He's just like a car, bro, like a motor. It's kind of nuts. I think for his weaknesses, I don't even have that many. He's not too fast.
You don't got his T-Rex arms down as a weakness?
I have that. I was gonna put that. He has short arms. It hasn't really like it is a weakness, and I think in the NFL will affect him, but only time will tell. In college, it obviously didn't. I mean, he dominated anyway, so like we'll see how that translates in the NFL. He's not that quick. There's definitely like faster, like David Bailey, who I mentioned, also very very fast. But to make up for that, he has a lot of power. So that's I mean, yeah, like bro's just a beast. He's projected top 10, or like roughly top 10, top 15 somewhere. I think he goes top 10 personally. If he doesn't, then he'll probably fall at 12 for the Cowboys. I think y'all definitely could use him for sure. A team like the Bengals, I forgot what rank they are, like or what pick they are, like 10 or something.
10.
Kansas City's like at 9. They could probably use him too. So like there's a lot of options. But I don't think he goes any later, to be honest. He's a freak of nature. I think any team that passes on him, honestly, they're missing out. So what else am I missing? Player comp. I would give him like a Trey Hendrickson type of, you know what I mean? Funny enough, because I did mention the Bengals. They're like very very similar, like in style. I had like a ceiling comp too. I think he could be like as good as Max Crosby potentially. It's just I think a matter of like if he doesn't get injured or anything like that, or and if he keeps that relentless like motor that he has, like stuff like that, because that's some things that you see out of Max Crosby. So if it translates well, I mean, he's definitely going to be one of the best edges in the league. So but yeah, that's Ruben Bain. That is Ruben Bain Jr. Miami Hurricanes.
That leads me to David Bailey. And remind me, Valid, of the time that your guy had for the either like the 10-yard, the 40-yard. I just want to compare times because you said
I couldn't find his times for some reason. I tried to look for them. I know David Bailey's times are like extremely good. But I'll obviously let you go into that. But yeah, I couldn't find.
I was just
sure if he ran
curious
or
just
not.
to make a comparison. If he did or didn't run, I don't know, because all I did was look at my guy, who came from Texas Tech. He's a senior. He's 6'4", 251. Arm span 33 3/4, and is 10 1/4. Not bad. To kind of go into a little bit with the combine, because I have a majority here of the combine pulled up in front of me. His production score was a 98, which was right above Bain. His athleticism score was only 79. That was ranked 5th. And then his total score was 86, which put him back at the top at number 1. They gave him a perspective grade of 6.78, which for context, for those who don't know, that means he's most likely projected a year 1 starter. He did the splits for 10-yard and 40-yard. He did the vertical jump. He did the broad jump. But just some notes in terms of time. 1.62 for the 10-yard and 4.5 for the 40, which I think is pretty good, at least for an edge. Before he went to Texas Tech, he was at Stanford for 22, 23, and 24. Some things to note. He was freshman All-American. He played in 11 games, 9 of which he started, for 46 tackles that year, 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. At 23, he had 5 sacks, played 10 games with 5 starts with 34 tackles. At 24, he was ranked 4th in the FBS with 5 forced fumbles. Good on him. 7 sacks, played 12 games with only 2 starts. That was kind of a down for him with only 31 tackles. And in 2025, he was first team All-American. Yay. Big 12 Conference Yell of the Year, Newcomer of the Year. And then he's also a finalist for the Lombardi Award. And then he also had 14.5 sacks. And he played in all 14 games with 13 starts. So, I mean, I think 25 was honestly his best year from what it sounds like. 14.5 sacks. That's a lot. If I had to say, I think, just to talk about where I think he's going to get picked up, I think it's going to be first round. That's kind of a given. I could be, I think, anywhere between 8 and 20, maybe, if he even slips to 20. That's if other people pass up on him, which don't. I'm looking at you, Lions. If it lands there, I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't even think he goes that far, to be honest.
No, he's not. But I'm just saying, if he ended up...
I be seeing him mocked to 2 or 3 all the time. Either Arvo Reese or David Bailey. I see them flipped almost every draft. Just
definitely
crazy.
see him going there.
But watching a little bit of his game, what kind of I guess I'm going to start with a tiny bit of a con. That kind of puts a little bit of concern for me. Is that when he goes for his tackles, he goes head on, which is kind of scary, kind of concerning to me. Don't know if that screams any red flags for you guys, but it screams it for me. And that's if he's not already, yeah, right. And that's if he's not already tripped up in the back, trying to trip the quarterback or nothing. But when he's not making that direct tackle, most of the time he's on the ground, grabbing at a foot, grabbing at some sort of limb to trip up a quarterback or trip up anyone else who could be in the way that could hit said person with the ball. He's very explosive. And I like that about him. And this will kind of lead into my pro comp, which I'm actually going to give it to, funny enough, as I mentioned earlier, I'm actually going to give it to Aiden Hutchinson. Because he plays similar to him. The only difference between him and David Bailey is the fact that Hutch is a little more stronger, a little more powerful than he is, at least from what I've watched in his game. But I think David Bailey is a little more of the thinner, faster, could be I'm over here, but now I'm over here kind of thing. He pretty much wins majority of the time. And I mean, I don't know, I really enjoyed watching his game because I don't actually watch like that much in terms of like defensive. I think that's kind of cool because I don't really watch it that much. But I forget if I'm like missing anything like crazily.
I'm turning Sale into a scout over here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is
Did your
fun.
player
I
come?
enjoy it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he looks good on the field. I do agree with him being a year one starter. I think he's gonna get picked up early, and I think he's gonna get used like pretty harshly, like right away, for teams that might need him. Bengals, maybe.
Shit, I hope he slides right where you talking about. He slide right after 8. Ravens can trade up and get him. Shit.
But yeah, I don't have much else to. Yeah, I don't got much else to really share about him besides the fact that he looks really good. And I think there's a reason why he sits at number 1 following the combine. So I think there's a reason why he sits up there.
No doubt.
David Bailey, fool.
It is.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of the off season where we have gone over edges. It's been real fun. I feel like everyone's got a real strong case for why these 4 edges could be easily drafted, and I mean, some could argue top 15 for all of them realistically.
Yeah.
So, you know, as we look forward to Thursday at noon, tune in for us because we will have we will be going over defensive tackles. So yeah, from Isabella, from Q, from Mike, we appreciate y'all. All love.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.